Good morning, everyone. I am Professor T. Aravindan from the Department of English, Bishop College, Trichy. Today, we will be discussing about 19th century British literature, which can be otherwise called as Victorian Age. This age is quite special in the Indian history as well as in the England's history. This is because 19th century England had close connections with 19th century British India. Let us move to the content of the video. First of all, I would like to introduce the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833. This Slavery Abolition Act enabled many black people to come out of the enslavement. Also, this act banned the child labor in industries. This is because industrialization was very popular in England. Apart from that, industries were also generating more revenue to the British government. Then, in the year 1837, Victoria ascended the throne. When she became the queen, she had to undertake various responsibilities. During her reign, there was a conflict between science and religion. On the one hand, the country was very spiritual. On the other hand, the country was also promoting scientific experiments and researches. The scientific experiments and researches produced logical evidences. Further, it also enabled people to believe that there was no God. This is because Charles Darwin's theory of evolution enabled people to have or to enable people to question the existence of God. Right? Then in the year 1851, Queen Victoria promoted the Great Exhibition. This exhibition established England as the greatest country of the 19th century. Then during her reign, the Charter Act of 1853 enabled Indians to take participate in the civil service examination. Until then, no Indians were allowed or no Indians were permitted to take the civil service examination. In the same year, 1853, the railway line was built between Bombay and Thane. This enabled the Indians, especially the British government, to develop the industries in India. Then in the year 1857, Queen Victoria wanted to promote higher educational researchers in England. For that, the government introduced University of Madras and University of Bombay in the year 1857. The same year, 1857, was also witnessed the Great Revolt, which can be otherwise called as Indian Sepoy Mutiny. This broke down the many administration reforms of the British government. But Queen Victoria, who was very clever, put down the Sepoy Mutiny of the 1857. Then in the year 1860, the Indian Penal Code was also introduced. This intensified the Indian law structures and reforms. Then during the year 1870, the Elementary Education Act was introduced. This Elementary Education Act reminded us the foundational knowledge for the various educational reforms in the India during 20th century as well as in the 21st century. Then during the year 1877, the British East India Company was also abolished by the Queen Victoria. Then in the year 1877, Queen Victoria became the Empress of India. When she became the Empress of India in the year 1877, many industries were introduced in North India, such as Surat, Rajkot, Bengal, and many parts of the India. During her reign, the presidency of Bombay and the presidency of Madras were introduced to the greater aspect. Then during the year 1882, under the reign of Queen Victoria, Lord Ripon proposed the local self-government in India. Before that, there were no such thing. Before that, only Britishers were allowed to decide the political reforms and social reforms in India. But this man, Lord Ripon, proposed the local government in the year 1882. This Lord Ripon can be otherwise called as the father of the local self-government. Apart from the social background of the Victorian age or the 19th century, the Victorian literature was known for many characteristic features such as science versus religion, then exploitation, which have been uncovered by many writers such as Charles Dickens, Harrison Ainsworth, George Eliot, and many other women writers. Political problems were also uncovered by the many writers such as Bronte sisters and George Eliot. Then colonization. Okay, one of the main tenets of the Victorian age was colonization. Colonization caused tremendous impact not only among the Britishers but also among the natives. The natives suffered from various kinds of violence unleashed by the British government. Because of the educational reforms, many people were able to read and write. Before that, only men of the certain community or men of the particular privileged classes were able to take education. But after the introduction of the educational reforms, women were also able to take higher education. Besides, there were innumerable women writers during the Victorian age. If you analyze the British history of England, starting from the age of Chaucer, there were only few women writers. But during the reign of Queen Victoria, there were many women writers. Women started to identify their feminine qualities and also how men were approaching the qualities of the women. Such rebellious concepts, such rationalistic concepts were popular during the 19th century. And the most important thing about the Victorian literature was that novels. Most of the Victorian novels were quite popular because of the themes such as property, money, inheritance, intrigues, scheming, and cheating. Coming to the last part of our video, with regard to Victorian literature, the concept of science and religion, the concept of rebelliousness and rationalistic thoughts were very, very popular during the 19th century. This 19th century laid the foundational stone for innovative thoughts in the many parts of the world. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.